Is your head cut off?
If it is, I should be bleeding.
You look better.
Thanks.
Hey, welcome back to our Stupid Rex Show, Corbin.
I'm Rick.
You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter for more juicy content. Thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Follow us for official Twitter account, subscribe, and hit the like button.
Yeah.
And welcome back. Today we're doing a movie review. And we're in our car because we watched it on a phone in our car.
Yeah.
That's
Little screen.
No.
Best way to watch a movie.
We obviously just stepped out of Jawan, the highly anticipated second film of Shah Rukh Khan in 2023. It's directed by Atlee, and I think the story and screenplay was by Atlee as well.
Yes.
By other people as well. Composed by Ani, starring Shah Rukh Khan. Nayan, say her name for me.
Easy for you to say. Nayantara.
Vijay, wait.
And Vijay Sarapathy.
Yogi Babu? Did you see Yogi Babu?
No.
Was he in this?
Wow.
Or did he get cut? And obviously other people, because I think obviously the whole cast is not here. But obviously it's Shah Rukh Khan's film, as you all know.
Yeah.
Just stepped out of it. Obviously, since it just came out, we're going to do first non-spoiler review. If we want to get some spoilers, we're going to get to spoilers. We will let you know before we do that.
We shall not ruin it for you.
Rick, your initial thoughts of Jawan?
So this was tremendously disappointing for me. I am extraordinarily disappointed. So yeah,
didn't like it.
Tremendously disliked it.
Yeah,
tremendously. I can only think of maybe two things to say that I would find complimentary about it, because there's so many other things that are so tremendously disappointing. So yeah, I really disliked it.
I definitely didn't hate it like you did. I didn't love it either. If I was to give it a grade, it'd be, and I know it'll be much higher than, regardless of what my score is, I want to be higher than yours.
Yeah,
probably more the 65 range out of 100. If I'm doing that, maybe closer at parts, maybe 70. It just depends on the part. So like I enjoyed it much more in parts. This film was massy through the ass. By every definition of the word, which is obviously a genre that we still are not accustomed to. And also, next time we have one of these films, I'm going to go, regardless of when it is, I'm going to go to whatever Showtime has the most people.
Yeah.
Because I think that's also sometimes with these style of films, because they're not our normal cup of tea, obviously, in terms of massy kind of films. It helps when you have a crowd that's also enjoying it, obviously. And I know a bunch of people are enjoying it. But obviously, definitely didn't enjoy it as much as I've heard other people have enjoyed it, for sure. I know I've probably enjoyed it more than Rick did.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it, obviously. Did you enjoy... What did you enjoy first?
I appreciated Atlee can clearly, with the team of his cinematographers...
Is your head cut off? Sorry. I want to make sure your head's not cut off. Okay, good.
Atlee clearly, with his team of cinematographers, can do some things that are extremely intricate technically with cinematography and visuals.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You didn't enjoy any of the fight scenes, though?
I liked...
Logic apart, because I know Logic.
No. And I was Logic apart on the fight scenes, especially in regard to something that's revealed in the very first fight scene that happens, which I liked and felt maybe that's a particular direction we were going to justify some of the things that we were going to see. But no, there wasn't anything particularly standoutish for me with the fight scenes. Yeah.
He didn't like the without giving it away, like there's an interval scene. Yeah. Because I enjoyed that interval scene, regardless of like how it fell in terms of like the story or whatever. It was a very South Indian massy. Even though I actually, in this, one of the issues I had with it is that it didn't go as South Indian massy as I would have liked it to in terms of the fight scenes. So like in certain, we've seen some South Indian massy fight scenes, obviously a lot. And like, let's say if there's a hammer, that hammer's going through somebody's skull, and we will see it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we didn't get that. And I was waiting for some fun bone breaks, all this kind of stuff. And
No, for my money, that came with Jailer.
yeah, absolutely. I obviously 1,000% enjoyed Jailer. That was a lot of fun. And at times, I did enjoy this film for the massy moments and stuff like that. But it never went far enough in terms of, like, I feel like it was like a watered down South Indian mass film.
Yeah, it's a good description. Yes.
Obviously, story aside of certain plot points.
When
and
we're just
stuff.
specifically talking about the action sequences and the stunt sequences, I would absolutely say they did. That's why they just never really engaged me, because the last time that I saw that on a big screen was not too long ago with Jailer, and that Jailer's just from start to finish just such a fun, wonderful movie.
Yeah, and like I said, I enjoyed parts of there's fight scenes and there was some comedy that I appreciated, but I wanted the fight scenes to just be more epic, and I felt like maybe they were watering it down for the Hindi commercial audience, maybe. I was like, well, if you have a South Indian director, why not take advantage of that?
Yeah,
and because that's one of the things that did disappoint me. Even though I hate the fight scenes. I wanted, if it's a South Indian director, South Indian production, Shah Rukh Khan wanted to be a South Indian superhero, basically.
Yes.
And
it didn't
why not
work.
go full throttle, especially in the fight scenes is what I'm talking about.
I agree with you completely.
Even though my favorite was the interval fight scene. I like that one a lot. But what about the performance? Not that there was like an Oscar-worthy performance. What did you think about the performances?
There was. I was more disappointed with performances than anything that would have impressed me, primarily because so much of the script was just dreadful, and a lot of the performances were just performative. I didn't see anything like, again, comparing it to, say, Jailer, for as massy and big and over the top, there was still some level of, because the script was better, there was a level of believability of these characters, other than just being, like I said at the outset, this didn't feel any more connective to me as a human being than if I was watching Micah play a video game.
And I think this would probably be, and it's not neither of our favorite genres, similar to, and I've never seen all but one of them, and it was one of the older ones, like Fast and Furious and or Expendable. You saw the trailer for the new Expendables movies, right?
Yeah, which was absolutely the right film to put as a trailer before this movie. They knew their audience for the trailer.
Neither of our favorite kinds of movies. Like, action is usually never, even though I can appreciate some good action, obviously, and there's some, if it's done well, I can appreciate it, but it's never going to be my favorite style of film.
It would be my least favorite. If someone said, what's your least favorite style of film? I would say it's just brainless action films like Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I've seen one Jason Statham film, and that's why I've never seen another one. I'd rather watch grass grow.
And this was similar, at least I think, because I've never actually seen those movies, but like in terms of if you're trying to think of any kind of logic, you're already dead to rights.
Yeah,
basically.
or logic in every way, not just logic in the terms of the action and the stunt work and things of that nature, but any logic in terms of things that happen in the story, any logic in terms of the relationships that people have, any logic that happens in terms of continuity, any logic that happens in terms of believability with makeup. Even there were points where I just was thinking to myself, again, how are you allowing that CGI with Red Chili's name attached to it, and the amount of money that an SRK film can garner? It just missed at every level for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of the songs were good, but we'd seen most of them already.
Yeah.
I think it was two, I guess. And there was parts like they left out of the stuff that we saw in our reaction as well. There was quite a few cameos.
There's some cameos.
There are some cameos, and then there's like Vijay Satapathy's character who plays the villain in this, which is that's not a spoiler.
Yeah, he's in the
trailer, and you would assume he would be the villain from it. I thought he did fine. Like I said,
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, no,
I did.
I was disappointed.
No, I was going in I wasn't expecting his normal gravitas.
Oh no, I wasn't in any way. No,
my expectations might have been lower because I was expecting action Pathan, which I think this actually had better action than Pathan and better CGI.
I liked Pathan much better. Did you like this more than Pathan?
It depends. In parts,
Wow.
because the second half of Pathan was extremely disappointing for us.
It was,
and the CGI was awful.
It was, but I could sit through the first half of Pathan again easily. I enjoyed the first half of Pathan.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't hate this movie as much as you hated it.
Yeah,
so it's different.
Yeah,
both have their flaws for sure, and both aren't totally my style of film either.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather see Shah Rukh Khan in a full-on romance role,
or something like Dawn 2.
That also had action flaws too, though.
Yeah, but it is head and shoulders for me above this.
This is that wasn't trying to be fully massy either. I'm not sure mass is fully our thing, but definitely not your thing.
Well, is Jailer mass?
I think you also gave Jailer a lot more forgiveness because it's Rajnikanth.
Yeah,
you think of I'm not trying to say this is anywhere.
But it's mass, right?
Jailer's a much better film than Jawan. I agree.
But it is mass.
Yeah.
I mean, Rajnikanth is this movie star of mass.
Yes, that had just a little more groundedness though than a normal mass. So I think normal mass, you're not.
So is normal mass basically Expendables?
I think so. You guys can let us know if I'm wrong. But most of the mass films that we've seen, you have not been a huge fan of.
No,
I'm not trying to defend them. It's just, I don't think it's your style.
If what it means for a mass film is to be like, say, for example, a Jason Statham film, where all logic in every sense of the form and any attentiveness to anything of artistic merit is just kind of thrown out the wayside because you're just going to have a banging good time in some way that is on par with, say, a video game, then I'm not a massy fan.
Yeah, because I think because the point of mass films is just entertainment. And I don't think there's actually anything wrong with that. It's just, some people is not obviously their cup of tea, understandably. But I know I have film buff friends who are like the biggest film buff I know that like they'll break down every single part of a film, but they also love fast films.
I know somebody who their favorite kind of a film was a Jason Statham film, and I went to them with one. That's the one film I went to, and I just could not. I just couldn't.
It's not everybody's cup of tea because obviously people look for different things in film.
Yeah.
Some people just want escapism and entertainment.
Yeah.
And some people, obviously, they want more from their cinema. Obviously, you are one of those that wants more from your cinema, and that's.
But I don't have any problem with, and I do appreciate films that are entertaining. I just don't know why anyone would find this kind of a film to be entertaining.
Well, I think I wouldn't agree with that. I think there's entertaining parts of this film. Is it a full-fledged package that I love, and I think it's like RRR would technically have mass in it. I wouldn't classify that as a full mass just because I think S.S. Rajamouli is just really gifted at his craft in terms of like making mass good and entertaining.
Yeah.
Because there's mass moments like the fact that a junior NTR can carry Ram Charan on his shoulders and then kill people no logic, obviously.
Yeah, massive straining of credulity in that respect. You've earned at that point for me. You've earned the right to do that kind of thing. So, for example, in addition, no, I won't. In addition to the lack of logic in so many respects, one of the other things that this film does ad nauseum is try to cash in on emotion where you've done nothing of a deposit in any way, shape, or form into the audience to justify the fact that you're going to try to cash in on that emotion, other than you're just going to placate. And that is, especially in some regards, which we'll talk about in the spoilers in a second, where it was almost insulting to me that you're trying to now tap into my emotions when you've done literally nothing to invest in them with anything coming close to being empathetic or even humanly interesting. So
that's another part from what I've found of mass films is not only mass action, basically a lot of times no logic. Everything's basically just for entertainment or to get an emotion out of you. Everything, that is the purpose, not to make you believe it, just to get it out of you.
Which to me, trying to evince an emotion out of someone without it being honest which is
one of the reasons that the problem I had with Jailer, even though I know you didn't have the same problem, is I felt they were doing that with Jailer, which they didn't do for most of the film at the end. That's one of the issues I had. Is like, 'cause this one obviously the entire time they were doing it, and so maybe it would have fit better. But that was one of the reasons I didn't like it. It's like I felt they just did that to get the emotion out of me.
Yeah.
I know you didn't have that issue with that.
I know what part you're talking about.
In
Jailer. I didn't think it was manipulative.
But I feel like that is another aspect of mass.
But at least at least they saved that to the end and tried to justify it with the fact that they had a relation. You know what I mean? There was an attempt at least.
So, like I said, Shah Rukh Khan had some funny moments. He obviously, it's no spoilers, and he plays a few characters in this. That's in the trailer. But it's just overall, I had an okay time. I know you did not.
Yeah.
But I mean, you probably had a better time than Theory, though. No. Can you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could say that.
There you go.
Okay.
The positives, little positives.
Yeah,
right?
but I didn't have the kind of expectations for that I did for this.
I think maybe for the next mass films, we should go in with less expectations.
I don't know, because I had high expectations for Jailer, and it exceeded them for me.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But maybe, and like I said,
maybe this just was a bad movie.
Maybe. You guys let us know, obviously, know what you thought about the film. And that's one of my big issues. I think if this had been a South Indian film, it might have even been better. Because it felt almost watered down. That's one of my biggest issues. Like, it felt like if I'm going in for a big mass Dhanush film, I want to go in for a big mass Dhanush film for like kicking ass and obviously bone breaks, and like, don't half-ass it if you're going to go that full way. And I felt that's at times, not all the time. Like I said, there was moments that I did enjoy, that they were kind of watering it down for the Hindi commercial audience.
Either that or just trying and not succeeding.
Yeah, maybe.
At being that.
But it's a South Indian director, so I assumed it was somebody else telling him, because he knows how to make the mass films. But anyways, obviously, done with the non-spoilers.
Yeah,
guys,
we'll go into the spoils now.
If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. Come back. You can let us know, and then we're going to get into some spoils.
Yeah.
Just what we wanted to talk about. I guess, first thing. There's just... and. Not that I was never looking for logic. There's just one moment specifically that was like, that is insane that's what you decided to go with.
What?
When he fell from the sky.
Oh, that was beyond stupid.
Like, I was like...
That was insultingly stupid.
There's so many different ways you could have done it to where it would have been more believable. But the fact that, once again, spoilers...
It just basically lets you know, hey, audience... we think you're complete idiots and we don't care.
But like the fact that he fell from a plane, right?
After he'd been shot 5 times.
Whatever the distance was, I saw it could have been 10,000 feet, right?
Could have been 1,000 feet.
Yeah, could have been
terminal velocity at that point.
Yeah, but the fact that the branch breaks his fall, that would have cut him in half. Is what that would have done at that velocity. But then water is essentially like bricks.
I saw a reel of a guy doing a dive off of a cliff that was about 35 feet high, and he hit the water and broke his back at 30 feet.
And now, he did obviously get incredibly hurt, and I think it took him months.
And then he laid there for a month and got up and destroyed.
I think it was 6 months. I think that's what they said. But regardless,
he laid there and then was able to get up and destroy everybody. But I understand. But you know what justified it?
That happened in Batman.
But you know what justified it?
They broke his back.
They did, but you know what justified it for me in that moment? He was becoming the incarnation of a god. That's what justified it for me in the beginning. At the very, very beginning, I was looking for the justification for now we didn't know what had happened, but I was looking for the justification of how did this guy who
why
showed
he
up
didn't die.
Yeah, how
Kinda
did this
like
guy
Nawaz in Hadi.
bleeding out, laying there for a month, suddenly have the power to destroy all the people that had attacked the village? And it was because the guy had been praying to God and said, prove that you're not more than just a stone, and he
he
had
was God
become
reincarnated.
imbued. Yeah. That for me was the only justification in the film.
Like, yeah, that would, like there's a bunch of moments obviously that
I mean, there
but
were a
I
ton
wasn't looking like
So can I bring up the ones I dislike?
Yeah,
And
sure.
if you can give me a justification,
Oh,
that
I'm
would
not
be
going
great.
to, because that's not the point of this film.
Number one, if you're gonna show somebody naked, just show them naked. Don't do the stupid I'm gonna blur it for you.
That's the censor board though. So
Well, the censor board, gosh.
go on.
Anyway, so did you know that you could find out someone's pregnant just by checking their pulse? I had no idea.
Yeah, that was
That's another one. Hey guys, we assume you don't know how people know how they get pregnant, so we're just gonna have someone take her pulse and look at you and say, "She didn't just faint; she's pregnant."
yes.
Good grief!
Yes.
I also didn't know you could raise a kid in prison. That was new to me.
India might have different laws. Who knows?
Good grief!
Well, I don't think we need to go down all the times, because once again, if you're looking for logic in a mass film, I think you've already lost. But yes, I'm not trying to defend any of them. It's just the most egregious one. I thought the pregnancy one was just hilarious.
You know what was the most egregious one for me? Seriously, the most egregious one.
The falling from the sky?
No, at first, I really liked the direction things were going on the train, and the fact that he was a Robin Hood who was doing what he was doing, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is actually trying to make a legitimate point about the farmers. I wasn't expecting this. Is this thing going to have some balls? Is this going to be like an action film that also talks about some of the deeper realities of what really goes on in the world, like Dark Knight? And then it not only didn't, it then used those issues as just a point of being part of the story and being heavy-handed to the point where it just became insulting, not just to intelligence, but insulting to the actual issues themselves. They were used as just plot points to continue the film rather than legitimate stories, which they had done on the train at the beginning. And that deeply bothered me, because they're very real instances where I thought, you know what? How cool would it be? I was thinking this at the train segment. How cool would it be if this continues and he's this anti-hero like V for Vendetta, or even the Joker I consider an anti-hero, who is wanting to correct some of the wrongs he sees in India. And then what if SRK came out after the movie opened and said, I've created an organization, and all of the proceeds from this film, or at least what I've made on this film, since I'm worth nearly $1 billion, are going to go to the issues in this film in some way, shape, or form, and actually cross that line between entertainment and actually having your message become something that's impactful and changes the lives of the people that you're using in the story as part of your plot line. So I guess I would be disappointed.
And there's I was trying to remember what I wanted to talk about in spoilers. There's something specifically, but I'm trying to...
Continuity?
No, it's not a negative.
5 years,
I was just wanting to talk about a
kid raised in prison.
No, Rick, stop.
No, I'm genuinely...
No.
I'm saying those things to see if it triggers the thought.
No. It's nothing to do with it. I actually would love to see Vijay Satapathy be Santa Claus. Nothing to do with the movie. If there's I know he's doing a Merry Christmas movie. Obviously, that comes out later this year.
There you go.
I think he would be a great Indian Santa Claus.
He would. He looked great.
I think he would be a great... I love his look at this.
His look with the beard was epic. He was handsome. He looked great.
I actually loved it in terms of just some of the other thing. I would love Shah Rukh Khan to come out as the old look Shah Rukh Khan in like a full maybe when he's 20 years from now when he's older, and do look like superstar Rajnikant does, when just kicking ass. Because I like that look a lot. Deepika's role, I thought some of her action was cool, but like I wanted her to do more. I wanted her action to be like, that's one of my main things. I wanted, like I've said, I wanted some of the action to just go farther, because you have one, red chilies. And two, you have a South Indian director.
Yeah.
They know how to do mass action.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see Deepika cracking heads. So like I wanted some badassery.
Or I actually thought the girls would be involved in more of the badassery.
Yeah.
To a certain extent too.
Well, they were. They just like, you didn't show them as badass as maybe I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I didn't hate the movie. I know Rick did. I didn't hate the movie, but I wanted more. I definitely wanted more. In terms of like, just from what we've seen, Jailer, right? Even though this is 1,000%, this is 1,000% bigger than Jailer in terms of the production size, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but you think you could do more then, right?
Right.
But sometimes less is more, right?
No, and that's the thing for me, is because I so appreciate Shah Rukh Khan, and to know he has full creative control over every single thing. It's Red Chilies. That's his company. It's his name. To do the film and have it be done and like walk away and say, yeah, I'm happy with that is just shocking for me.
A lot of people, I mean, I've already heard a lot of people really enjoy this film, so it might just be an us thing that just don't get this style of film. It's possible. Obviously, we've given you our point, and that's we're going to be honest. Obviously,
it will never be.
It's
never
happened
not be honest.
It's happened many times where something is extremely popular in terms of like Pushpa, KGF 2, Patan. Even though we appreciate parts of Patan,
but we didn't. We didn't love it as much
like
as other
everybody
people.
else.
Yeah,
did.
I think the closest things would be where everybody was jumping up and down raving about Pushpa and KGF 2, and we just did. Well, and that hopefully that's probably, I hope that's one of the things you love about us, is that when we say something positive and affirmative, we mean it, because we will tell you when we really dislike something.
Yes.
And it's never with the intent. I mean, the movie, right at the beginning, it said, hope you enjoy the show. And I said, I really hope so. Because you don't go into a film hoping it's going to fail unless you're just a mean person and the movie's made by somebody that you truly detest.
Yeah.
I go in rooting. I wanted this to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys can let us know what you thought about the film. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, why we're idiots, as always. It all helps the algorithm. So just let us know what you thought about the film down below.